the United Methodist Church becomes the first church to divest from Israel. Leave it to the Methodists.
I was going to say they're Methodists.
And little by little, they will continue. Others will join. And that's what's going to happen. From Rogue DNC, the United Methodist Church has become the first global church to divest from government bonds tied to military occupations in Israel. And this is apparently going back to August 6th, and this was just released within the last day. The church's investment agency, Westpath, announces it would no longer invest, in bonds from Israel. This includes Turkey and Morocco, citing their roles in the ongoing occupations. This decision follows a resolution passed at the UMC's 2024 General Conference. Bishop Tracy Malone said, as United Methodists, our witness must align with our values. It reflects our prophetic calling while centering the gospel's demand that we love our neighbor and seek peace rooted in equity. Seems pretty reasonable to me. So who's going to be next?
No, I don't think the Southern Baptists.
No, I don't think the Southern Baptists either. I would hope that the Catholics would. I hope that what about the Lutherans? I would think the Episcopalians, absolutely. The Episcopalians are probably the most liberal Christian denomination in the United States. But you would think that this is probably going to start a chain reaction. What do you think?
I hope so. It depends on how beholden any of these organizations, and let's be real, these are businesses. So it really depends on how beholden these businesses are to the Zionist movement. Financially, religiously, I don't know. And I don't know enough about the different sects to have that knowledge as to what their connections are.
Checkpoint Charlie. I'll tell you what kind. Every single religion in the Western world is a bank. That's basically what they are. A tax-exempt bank.
Explain to Christopher that we're not nihilists.
Why are we acknowledging Chris back? Who gives a shit? Hey, Chris, go somewhere else. Don't need you here.
He's a member.
Thank you for being a member, Chris. You don't need to be if you think that you got to get upset at us because we don't like the fact that Jamal Bowman, who was a shill in many ways, and then goes and throws everybody under the bus because he got kicked out of Congress. He blamed Jimmy Dore for losing his congressional seat. Let me tell you something. Jimmy couldn't have been more happy, because Jimmy's an egomaniac in many ways, more happy than to hear Jamal Bowman, an ex-congressman, say that Jimmy is the reason I'm no longer in Congress.
That's not. He was blaming Jimmy for that the force the vote didn't work.
Force the vote would have worked. That's why they didn't do it. If there was any chance that they could have done something that would have allowed them some leeway and to save face because they knew it wouldn't work, they would have done it. But when they knew it would cause a problem, that's when they said, oh, no, can't do it.
No.
Absolutely not. And we, again, as I said, we could disagree with Jimmy about a lot, but he was right about that. He was 1,000% right about
that. But just, it was Jamal's whole demeanor. It was everything. It was the most uninspired thing I ever saw. He was condescending to Bree. Just all of it. It did not motivate me to want to support somebody. And again, it's not my district. I have no horse in that race.
No, again, if you're, like you said, whether it's Latimer, whether it's Richie Torres, yes. Would somebody like Bowman be better than them? Sure. But is that moving the needle and actually getting things to be better?
Exactly.
How are they improving anything? When they had an opportunity to take the bull by the horns and they had a chance, you had Ilhan Omar, you had Jamal Bowman, you had Rashida Tlaib, you had Summer. I don't know if Summer was there yet. You had
Corey.
AOC, you had Cori Bush, and you had Ayanna Pressley. You had those 6 congressional members that could have actually stirred shit up, caused a real problem, and they chose not to. Cori Bush apparently is planning on running again against Wesley Bell. Again, would she be better than Wesley Bell? Sure. Is that changing things?
No.
It's just not. So when we say that your pathway in terms of liberating the United States of America, it's not coming at the ballot box. That's not to say don't vote. That's not to say that your vote doesn't matter. It all matters. It matters at the local level, especially. But if you really want to make a change, if you want to make an impact, the only way that's happening is boots on the ground and coalition building against class lines.
Yeah.
That's it. And here's what I will say about the fire alarm. That has to be one of the stupidest moves a person who was already in bad graces to do when you get pegged as something politically. Like Ted Cruz gets pegged as a lot of things, including up his own ass. But that's for another time in another place. My point is, if you get pegged as the fire alarm guy, that's bad. Because that's never going to leave. And so if he attempts to run for office again, and I believe he will if Zoran gets in, he's still going to be that guy. And if he runs against Richie Torres, Richie is going to have things to use against him. Remember, the one thing about politics that really sucks, that it's always comes down to a game of who sucks more or who sucks less. If you suck less, then you might win. But somebody like Jamal Bowman is going to rub people the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, what I think, and I think the point is when someone says you don't even like him, here's the thing. If I lived in that district and I had to vote between Richie Torres and Jamal Bowman, of course I would vote for Jamal Bowman. That to me is clear. But that doesn't mean that I find him worthwhile enough for me to go out of my way when it's not my, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference between who you would vote for of a lesser of two evils and who you want to go out of your way for to really promote to the world. Those are just different.
I agree. And I do feel bad for those that are feeling helpless. I did not say Bowman. I said Ted Cruz.
It's still not good. Still not good.
Ted Cruz. He's just such a complete manifestation of everything that's wrong with our country. And he's such a sniveling son of a bitch. I don't want to be derogatory. I don't want to have to call out and do name calling and things like that. But this is what our country's become. We've become a joke. We've been a joke for a long time, but I think a lot of people are finally waking up to it. But maybe, just maybe, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. If the United Methodist Church is willing to go forward and divest what is probably millions of dollars out of Israel's war machine, then who's to say that the Lutherans aren't next? Who's to say that the Episcopalians aren't next? Or dare I say,
Catholics?
Say that the Catholic Church isn't next. The door is open now.
Maybe with the last pope. I don't know about this pope. I don't know.
I don't know what size the denomination is in the United States. I know that Catholics are number one and Protestant evangelicals are number two. But past that, I'd imagine that the Methodists are probably, they're right up there. Baptists are, somewhere between Baptists and Methodists, I would imagine. No, I don't want to be mean. I don't like people that are hurting others. So I'm in favor of justice. And I feel that times you have to call out certain people who have earned that ire in so many ways. That's what we forget. A lot of these people deserve to be called out in not so kind terms. We owe it to ourselves to not be afraid to say what needs to be said. I absolutely not. I am nothing, and I am proud to be nothing. My relationship with God is my own. I live by the golden rule: do unto others as you would have done to you. That's my church, and if you like it, great. If you don't, that's your business. My father, his fiance, they go to church. They go to the Catholic church every week. It's their business. I respect it, but it's certainly not for me. I am not an atheist like Jen. I believe in the possibility that there's a higher power, but odds are we're just here by dumb luck. That's all there is to it. That's why I'm very grateful to be alive. That's why I treat every day like it's sacred, because it is. Because
I'm looking for my picture of
one day it won't be here anymore. Hitch.
Yeah. My poster of Hitch. Yeah, there I am not my feeling about God is pretty much my same feeling about Santa Claus. I won't ruin it for other people who believe in it, but it's not my thing.
John, hello? Hi, yeah, so my name is Luna and I'm your constituent from 19144. I am calling today as a lifelong Philadelphian, a Jew, and a therapist.
I'm calling today as I have been calling you for nearly 2 years.
I'm calling today, Senator Fetterman, to tell you to pick up the phone.
JVP members from all over the country have been calling your office for 22 months now, asking that you stop voting for legislation that continues to arm Israel and that you continue to block necessary life-saving aid from entering Gaza.
Because you stand on your rooftop waving an Israeli flag while tens of thousands of children are murdered by the country that flag represents. Because you continue to support Israel even now, even as people in Gaza collapse in the streets from starvation or are shot by Israeli snipers while trying to collect food for their families.
Doctors in Gaza are seeing babies who are so severely malnourished that they're born without any muscle or fat.
You could hear her voice crack.
Yeah. This is
So I will say this again. I will say this to all of our Nick Fuentes adjacent viewers in the chat and beyond. Do you see what that sign says? These are all Jews. This is Jewish Voice for Peace. And this is Philadelphia. Jews say stop arming Israel. And they've been saying it for a really long time. So when you throw all Jews under the bus, you're only adding to the problem. You are not reducing it. Know the distinction between whether you are supporting Zionism or Judaism, or anti-Zionism versus pro-Zionism. And if you don't recognize that distinction, then you are not actually America first. We are one nation under the red, white, and blue, if that's what you believe. Now, we all know that that's not the case for a lot of people. And we all know that there's a lot of people that will sell out this country. Now, as people were pointing out in the chat, like the Midas touch guys that have 5 million subscribers, congratulations. But you know what? Right now, as our channel stands in this moment, we are sitting on 52,624 subscribers. And we appreciate each and every one of you that are here. It's hard to believe, but by possibly Saturday night, we'll be up to 53,000 subscribers.
Let me guess what's next. 54.
Possibly. But we have earned every single one of those subscribers. We didn't sell out to some raggedy shitbag corporate organization that wants us to talk about how great the Democrats are and how they're fighting for democracy. Yeah, really.
And just for full transparency, no one's ever offered us that either. It's not like we've turned it down.
We would turn it down. All right, you know what? I would turn it down. I don't know about you.
I don't know either. Nobody's ever offered me anything. I can't say.
Well, we may have an economic opportunity coming up, so we'll see what that looks like shortly. But just know, it is I would say of all the things that we've tried to do since we've started this channel is be nuanced in all of our political discourse. And very often people don't want to be in that category. They want to blanket everybody. As I said, the Jew hatred is real. Now, that's probably always been there under the surface in some respects for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's dialed up to an 11. Why? Because Zionists are making it very easy for that to be the case. So again, watch these women. They're not all of the Jewish people, but the ones who specifically support the Zionist cause are typically from the affluent class. These don't look like affluent people. They look like everyday people like you and I. And they care just as much about this country and about the Palestinian people as you do. So do not allow yourself to fall into that trap. Well, I don't think you would do that then.
It's just funny. Justin, I can't be bought. That's the thing. There is no amount. There's no amount.
That's why you were never offered.
Tissue on their bodies. They are watching life enter this earth as literal skin and bone.
I am calling because children my age and younger are being starved by the Israeli government, which is funded by ours. I am calling for you to use the power that you have to let aid into Gaza and to stop sending arms to Israel.
Stop using our tax dollars to fund genocide and instead fund our schools so that the children who are able to get a good education do.
This is a shanda. This is an absolute disgrace.
Come on, you have to.
It was such a shanda. I should never take this from a moil. It's too chewy. No, it's not working. Need to go older.
I love it. It's a shanda.
But look at this thing we've got here. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find. Catch me a catch.
Oh, I love that for people who.
You know, I just sit down and watch that. Just the scenes between him and Harvey.
I'm sorry, that was Mrs. Doubtfire. That was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, the scenes between Robin Williams and Harvey Fierstein, you could just go and watch that. Like that alone is enough. I wasn't talking about you, Mom. I was talking about the dog.
Because I would bet that the majority of that was improv. That's what I think.
Everything that Robin Williams does is a degree of improvisation.
Yeah. I mean, that whole thing had to be like the three of them. It was him, the brother, and the boyfriend or the husband, and that was so funny.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Bill Murray. It's like you have to expect that most of it's going to be improvised to some degree. Like that's just their style. It's what makes it work.
Oh, so good.
If you guys have never seen the outtakes from when Robin Williams was doing the voice of the genie for Aladdin, go look that up on YouTube if you want to laugh for like 10 minutes.
Single page of Jewish history. You are killing children. You are preventing people from being fed. You are arming murderers. You must stop arming murderers. That is what is going on.
I don't know this man.
We demand that you do your duty and you stop genocide now.
Let Gaza live! Let Gaza live!
The problem is that we know that no matter how many calls they get, no matter how, they don't care. They really don't. Not about that.
Not at all.
They don't care.